So I never really cared about outdoor living spaces. Well, not until recently when I moved into a place with an upper and a lower deck living area. So outdoor living areas that I was never used to having before. So what we got from the builders wasn't anything crazy. It was pretty, decent, pretty simple, nothing crazy, just made out of wood. But we wanted to extend how much usable area we had and make it part of the home. So, extend the living room area and make this outdoor living area more useful. So we decided to transform the entire space. And this is how the entire process went. While the home was being built, the builders offered to extend the upper deck they were selling as a part of the house, which was made out of pressure treated wood and some basic black rails. However, I decided to save my money and decline their offer to handle it after possession. Looking back, I'm glad I made that decision as it allowed us to plan and design something that not only has much better quality but is also tailored to our specific needs and preferences. The fact that there weren't any neighbors directly behind the house made it a no-brainer to invest in making the upper deck a more usable space. The view from behind was also very cool to experience from out there, especially during sunsets and sunrises. While I do enjoy do-it-yourself projects, extending a deck was definitely beyond my skill set and my comfort level. I decided to outsource the job to contractors who specialize in deck renovations and reached out to several companies for quotes, comparing them to find the best balance between cost and value. After selecting a contractor, we discussed our vision and carefully planned out every aspect of the project, from the floors to the railing system. Our goal was to double the deck's square footage from approximately 120 to 240 square feet. This meant extending the current space to span the entire width of the house from one edge to the other. Excited by the potential outcome of the plan, we immediately set the project in motion to see our vision come to life. The renovation process started off with a crew coming out to strip down the current deck. We had only been living at the house for a few months when I began to notice some of the negative effects of our current deck. It stained easily, provided no privacy, and the worst for me, allowed water to freely pass through to the bottom. This also affected the usability of the lower deck, especially whenever it rained. It didn't take very long to tear it down to its original frame and begin installing the new plywood base that would eventually serve as the underlay for the new deck floor. An additional pillar also had to be added on the other side of the house to support the extra weight from the extension. The next person to come in was the floor installer. We decided to go with vinyl here as an upgrade to the pressure treated wood that was there before. It's not the most cost efficient type of floor to use, but it also provides a lot of great benefits. First off, it doesn't let water get through it, so my issue with water getting to the lower deck before wouldn't be an issue anymore. They also look so much nicer than treated wood and come in a variety of style and colors, easily adding to the overall curb appeal of the house. Before now, I'd never seen vinyl flooring installed, so it was really interesting to see how it was done. It only took one guy to do it, but it also didn't look like a job that needed more than one person. For the color, we went with a shade of gray that had a bit of a bluish tint to it. We did this so it could easily align with the aesthetic of the house. This part of the renovation took less time to finish than the first, and when it was done, the final results left me completely amazed, and the difference that it made to the overall appearance was very evident. Taking a closer look at the finished work, I noticed that there were seams that connected both layers of the vinyl wrap together, which I was told to expect. Truthfully though, I wish there was some way they could have masked the point of connection. After the floors were installed, there was a bit of a wait time before the rails were brought in. So I'm gonna be doing some DIY work here, so some electrical work, adding some pot lights right underneath the deck here. We had half a deck before, so I was only going to add 4. But now that we've got double the size, I'm going to be adding 8 pot lights. I'm also gonna be adding some outlets for possibly some future blinds or shades. I'm gonna have some automated style ones that go up and down so I can use them when I want to and not have them there when I'm not using them. So this process hopefully doesn't take too long. It's a very simple layouts that we're going with. 4 on this side, 4 on the other side, so 8 in total. By the time I was done running wires for the pot lights, my PoE security camera, and a couple of in-ceiling speakers, the railing system was ready to be installed. We decided on 42-inch see-through glass to be used all along the front side and doubled the height on the sides with privacy glass. For the rails, we went with black, which I strongly believe looks great right next to all the glass and even the vinyl floor. Again, This stage was handled by one person and did not take very long to finish. I thought the final result of the deck renovation looked absolutely stunning. The combination of glass, black rails, and vinyl floors really helped in putting out that premium and luxurious look that we were going for. Also, the fact that there was now more usable space out there was very exciting to think of. At this point, I couldn't wait to add some outdoor furniture and get back to grilling out there as I used to do before the renovation started. The first thing I brought out onto the new deck was, of course, my barbecue grill. Before the house was built, I paid for the builders to run a gas line all the way to the top and the bottom in case I ever needed to add this, or even something like a fire table which uses natural gas. The main reason for doing this was to prevent the need to continuously replace empty tanks when using a propane grill. Once I had the grill hooked up to the gas line, I cleaned it up and it was pretty much ready to be used. If you were wondering about the grill that I've got, it's a small 2-burner Weber grill that I opted for when we first moved in since we didn't have very much space to work with at the time. Now I feel like a larger one will be best suited for the new space, but this is going to have to do for now. As for grilling space, it has a decent amount in the main area as well as a small warming rack at the back end. It's also got 2 foldable side tables with one having a couple of hooks meant for holding cooking utensils. After the grill, it was time to add some furniture to the remaining space to create a nice and a cozy outdoor area. For this, we had to wait a few weeks for different items to ship to us. By the time everything arrived at the house, the deck had accumulated a bit of dust and dirt, so I decided to do some cleaning right before setting anything up. I did this using the retractable hose, which made the job very fast and easy. We waited a few hours for the floor to dry up and then brought out the first item. It was an 8 by 10 feet straw rug that I'd ordered off Amazon. Now, we weren't really sure what to expect from it, but a leap of faith was taken here anyways. The description on the product page said it was waterproof, so I thought it'd be perfect for year-round outdoor use. Setting this up was very quick and easy, and I thought it looked pretty good, adding a bit of color to the deck floor. After laying out the rug, we brought in the decor pieces. For this, we opted for a couple of plastic planters to hold some fake plants, adding some greenery to the space. The planters can be picked up in a few colors, but we chose to get them in black to line up with the deck's aesthetic. They have a rectangular shape with sharp edges that presents kind of a super modern look. They're also fairly tall and wide, but have a super slim profile. Once we had the planters set up, we tried out 2 different options of fake plants to see which one fit the look we wanted the most. The choice was between plants that were 28 or 35 inches tall, and it honestly wasn't a difficult one at all. Since we had tall privacy glass installed on both sides of the deck already, going for the taller plant was a no-brainer. Apart from the fact that they looked much better next to the tall glass, they also added another layer of privacy from that side of the deck. After setting those up and seeing the end result, I realized we needed an additional planter. It was definitely a reluctant purchase for me, considering buying the pair cost a bit more than one would have expected. We moved on to setting up the couch next. Around this time, summer was already coming to an end, so I decided not to look into anything that cost too much. Luckily for me, I found a decent sale on a 7-piece outdoor sectional that would fit well into the space. It's a wicker set, so I definitely wasn't expecting top tier quality or anything like that. The plan is to use this set temporarily until next summer when I can replace it with a nicer set that can be enjoyed throughout the season. The couch came in 7 pieces, and that's including a center table. We decided to exclude this piece from the space since we already had other plans for a center table. Setting up the couch was a bit tedious and time consuming. In fact, it took us more time getting it set up than it took to do everything else combined. We definitely saw this one coming though. The whole thing shipped in 3 small boxes. While putting the frame together, it didn't feel like it was going to be top tier quality, but it seemed like, it would be good enough to get the job done. Once we got done building that, we set the cushions on it, and the first impressions we got from them was that they pretty much had very little to zero actual cushion in them. In other words, they were quite uncomfortable to sit on. There wasn't much we could do at this point, so we accepted that, it would have to do for now. Hannah also decided to throw some pillows onto the couch to add some color to it, which not only did that, but also made it, comfier. The last thing we brought out was the center table. It was a rectangular fire table, 56 inches long, that spanned most of the length of the longer side of the couch. It had a light gray color and a concrete style design with a long rectangular fire pit along the middle of the tabletop. It wasn't actual concrete though, so it was really light and easy to handle. After positioning the table at the center of the sitting area, I added the rocks that it came with to the fire pit. The fire table can be hooked up to a 20-pound replaceable propane gas tank for power. I went and bought one right away since I didn't just buy a fire table not to actually use the fire pit. This immediately created a new issue for me to deal with. We needed to find a way to conceal the tank and keep it out of sight for a much neater look, so I decided to do some research on the topic. Based on the product manual, the fire table was supposed to come with a side table designed to hide away a gas tank. I tried to reach out to the seller on Amazon about this, but was told I had to go buy that as a separate piece. It was frustrating to say the least, but I expect that kind of shadiness from Amazon sellers at this point. The fire table was not cheap by itself, so having to fork out some more cash for the side table was something I did very reluctantly. All controls for the fire pit can be found at the center, and operating it is very easy. Once hooked up to a propane tank, all that's left is to ignite the horizontal burner using the control knob and the lighter button. The knob can also be used to increase or reduce the intensity of the fire produced by the burners, and this can be great for controlling how much heat you want the table to put out. The final items needed to finish up the space arrived a few days later. First, we had the extra planter and fake plants set up right next to the other two. This in turn finished up that entire area there, and then I brought in the side table next, which had the same color and design as the fire table. It was essentially a smaller version of the table, but without the fire pit. It came with a base for securing the propane tank to it and keeping that off the ground. Once I had the tank mounted onto the base, all I had to do was place the table right over top it. Besides providing protection for the tank, it also acts as a side table for placing small items when seated at that side of the couch. It's also much easier on the eyes than any exposed propane gas tank could ever be. Now, I'm sure there's more things we could have added to enhance the space further, but at this point, we were just about ready to use it before summer ended. The couch looked pretty decent, especially since it came in black, but its quality and comfort level were definitely questionable. I do plan on having it replaced during the next spring or summer season. Now, who knew planter boxes and fake plants could be so expensive? Those cost me a bit when combined, but they also looked great lined up right next to each other right behind the couch. The center and the side tables, both being the same exact color and design, also look really good together in the space. The biggest things for me at the end of the project was the fact that there was now more usable square footage in the house, and it looked top tier as well. This not only adds to the home's resale value, but also now makes the upper deck a more desirable part of the house to be in. The privacy we're able to now get is also another great benefit I look forward to enjoying over time. Lighting is something I still have to figure out, but I already have a few ideas in mind, which I will leave for another video. That's pretty much all for this video. I hope you enjoyed following along and seeing the deck transform. Thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you in my next video. It's Tommy, and I'm out, y'all.